buddy? Okay, put your head in between there. Between? Alright, good boy, alright. You can be in there too. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV, right Braids? Okay, you have no idea what's going on, right? So even Aaron doesn't know what's going on right now. So we're making this video, and the quarantine has kind of been pulled, not a little bit away from fitness, but I mean there's only so many workouts you can do and stuff, but I've been putting up other things like daily kind of just epiphanies and shit like that, whatever. But today we do something different. That we've never actually talked about this, and I have one way that I see it and remember it, and she has another way that she remembers it. Oh, even though it's the same thing that happened to both of us, right? We have two different ways of seeing it, but that is our story. This is the Aaron and Jerry story. Like you can see her face already, right? So we're gonna go through how we met. Some people don't really know the story. Our close friends know because they were there. But I've actually had a lot of people like, dude, like, how did you guys meet? Like, you seem good together, but you're so different. Well, how did you guys meet, right? So
that's fine. I'm glad I'm here so I can tell you the real story and not his like super dramatic bullshit version.
Well, then perfect. You start. We'll just bounce it back and forth.
No,
you start.
please, I insist.
Right,
where do you want to begin? Or I can start from my perspective.
2007, right?
Why don't I start from my perspective?
That's what you said. Yeah, you go from your perspective.
All right, fuck it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, you do your perspective, then we'll do the actual story.
He's such an asshole. He's lucky to be alive. So, I remember the day very well. I had gotten out of work early and I was in a very bad place.
Okay. Now, do you want to go into why you were in a bad place? Like you had stuff going on, like was it work, was it?
It was everything.
Yeah.
And I was in a bad place and I had gotten away from working out and I had just joined this gym and I felt good about it and I had worked with trainers in the past and I just wanted to give myself some consistency and some structure. And I went straight up to the front desk and I said I was looking for a trainer. I hadn't changed my clothes yet. I was still in street clothes.
She was wearing this. I vividly remember it, right?
This is going to be a lie.
So,
see how I was getting into these big grandiose? It's a lie.
The lady that was working the front desk, her name was Rita. Now, I had actually kind of just bribed her because there was like 90 trainers at this gym, right? And the only way you were getting clients, because it was a trainer's gym, was people that came off the streets. Like they weren't advertising. You had to kind of to be there. Now I was the only one. Like the way she came in.
Right.
So I was the only one in the gym at that time during the day. She came in probably like what, 2 o'clock?
It was around 2 o'clock
in the afternoon, somewhere on there.
Yeah, it was empty.
And I had made this deal with Rita that if she brings someone to me and they buy a package, I'll give her $50. Because it made sense to me. Like when I worked at the other gym at Gold's, whoever got the sale got it was like a commission on it. It was like a finder's fee or something. So when I had moved gyms, I was like, why don't I just keep that? It helps her, it helps me. And then out of 90 trainers, none of them are kicking her money back. They're gonna bring all the fucking people to me, so it's worth the $50.
So from my perspective, I said, I'm looking for a trainer. Do you know, is there anyone available or someone I can speak to? I don't know how it works here. And she said, yeah, actually. And then what seemed like 0 time passed. Like there was like an instant button.
I was working out. I was actually doing my own workout. So Rita came, I was like all the way in the back. Rita came to get me. And she was like, there's a lady up front. I think there's a woman up front. Whatever. She said there's a chick up front that is looking for a trainer. And I was like, all right, cool. So I just kind of like grabbed my stuff and I walked up there. And Aaron's standing there at the desk wearing this.
I look up at him and I'm like.
She's wearing this Def Leppard fucking shirt, right?
He says that because he knows I twitch because he knows it says Aerosmith. He knows it says Aerosmith and he calls it Def Leppard just to like get me to do exactly what I'm doing right now.
But this is comfort. When I say that shit, she fucking loses her shit.
Yeah, I do.
Like we'll be driving in the car and like Def Leppard comes on, I'm like, oh babe, remember when we met? You were wearing the Def Leppard shirt. It was an Aerosmith shirt, whatever. But I kept pushing the fucking.
I was. To be totally honest, let me paint a picture. I had this like horrible hat hair, and I still had like the line from my hat in the R, so I still had this like weird like halo.
Oh, you came from work that day?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Aerosmith t-shirt, I think jeans, but like I was feeling fat as fuck that day. Frumpy, ugly. My makeup was gone. I have a weird line on my head. I couldn't have looked any worse.
Def Leppard shirt.
Sad.
Coming in rocking the Def Leppard.
I felt so sad, you guys. And I look up, and then Jerry on the desk, and I'm like, I literally.
Well, you want to do the really rude joke? The really rude joke that Brooks does? What has 7 arms and sucks? Def Leppard. It's totally rude. I'm going to hell for that shit because the dude lost his arm. He was a 1-arm drummer anyway.
This is what I'm married to. So he goes like this, and I honestly felt so defeated, you guys, because I was in such a bad place and I felt so awful about myself. And I knew exactly how bad I looked at that moment. And I looked at him and thought to myself, you know what, the only thing that would make my life worse? Somebody that hot in my life.
Braids.
I needed a hot guy, like I needed a punch right directly to my face.
The fact
And
that
there
she
he
thought it
was, like this, on the counter, and I'm like, I literally looked down going...
In her defense, it was like literally maybe 3 weeks after a show, and I was about 240 pounds, and I was really lean still and really dry from the rebound. So
Perfect.
I was fucking just big,
No, he
full,
looked
thick.
perfect. And I'm sitting there, and I literally looked down. I remember looking at the counter going, like, I'm like, don't cry. Just don't cry. Because I was just at that, like, fragile place where, like, I knew that I had to make some big changes in my life because what I was doing wasn't working. And to see this super hot guy, remember how I looked, line on my head, fucking hair all of it. I look fucked up, you guys.
All right, we have to keep her on track, but she can take one instance. Like, we can talk about the first day we met for 50 minutes on this, right? Babe, this is a video we want people to watch, not be like, shut it off.
Sorry,
Okay?
it's my fault.
We got to keep her fucking directed, right? I have ADD, but she has a lot to say.
I do.
Go figure.
I do.
So so we make the plan to have her come in, like, I don't know, it was the next day or a couple days later, whatever it was. And then she goes on to do her workout. Now, it's pretty much only us in the gym, right? So I'm like doing my workout, whatever I'm doing, and I was using like the cables for something, and she like came out and did her stretching or whatever it was, and she goes over like this section with these dumbbells. Now, I'm not knocking her, because whoever it was that taught her these things, they have these trainers at gyms that are just fucking idiots, right? I mean, let's be real. So I look over because she's cute and new to the gym and stuff. I'm a trainer.
He took off his t-shirt and had a stringer underneath, and I'm going...
That's what bodybuilders wore back then.
Yeah, I needed a stringer in my life.
A stripper? A stringer?
A stringer?
Oh, a stringer, okay.
Really?
So I look over there, and because I also, of course, want to see what I'm working with also, to see what she's doing. So I look over there, and she's got like fucking dumbbells on her hands, like fucking, like doing like all these fucking weird, I'm like...
I was not.
What the fuck is she doing?
No, I was doing chest press. Okay, I was doing exactly what I was taught by my trainer. And I was being so careful about my form because I'm like, I really can't afford to get hurt right now.
I think seriously, like whoever, it was probably like a new trainer. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was definitely like I was looking at the form going, what the fuck? I didn't know she'd ever worked with anybody. That's how poor the form was, and it wasn't on her, right? It was on whoever taught her. So, okay, got a new client. So I call her the night before which I did very standard back then. I call her and I'm like...
Sure he did. I'm sure he called everybody the night before.
All the women before I trained them the next day got a phone call.
I'm sure everybody got a call.
And like this dude answers the phone. Now, mind you, I don't know anything about her. And I don't know. I'm like, whatever. It could be her brother, her father, her cousin, her husband. I don't know. So this dude answers the phone. I'm like, hi, is Erin there? And he's like, yeah, wait a minute. And he seemed kind of late. I was like, oh. So she gets on the phone. She's like, hello? And I'm like, hey, this is Jerry from the gym. She's confirming you're to be here tomorrow. She's like, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Everything's cool. I said, all right, cool. So hang on, it didn't dawn on me, like, you know, I don't know what the fuck's going on in her personal life, because I never met her. So she finally comes into the gym, and we need to make this, I mean, talking about the training stuff, we need to make it shorter, because there's so much story to us that, like, there's just, right, Braids? So she comes in, we do the workouts and stuff, whatever. She tells me that, you know, she's married to this guy, and I was like, okay, but she didn't really say much about him, right? So I'm like, well, this seems like weird, whatever. So we're training. So like a week or two goes by, she's like, well, my husband is John Ballard in the morning. And I'm like,
we don't need to say that.
What the fuck is what?
We don't need to say that.
You know what's that? I didn't know, well, whatever. I don't. Anyways, I was like, I didn't know who he was. He was actually like a famous DJ in this area, right? So I had no idea that like she was married to this famous DJ. I had no idea that she was like a nurse that did surgery. I didn't know anything about her. Like it was just, you know, whatever it was. So some time goes by and we're training and stuff. And at this point, me and my girlfriend at the time, which was Angelica, I think at the time, we break up. And now her and her husband, I didn't realize were having some issues, and they kind of parted ways. So we were both single at this point. And over the time of training and stuff, it wasn't my intention, but we kind of like, there was always like this push-pull kind of tension, like...
He would say 3 more, and I'd look at him and say 5 more. He'd go 7 more. I'd be like, why don't we do 10 more?
There was this like trying to overdo things, but it's like, you know what?
I'd like limp. As soon as I got out of the door, like I'd be all tough. I'd get in my car and like, because everything hurts.
But what it's really like is when you're in school and like the boy punches the girl in the arm, and she punches him back, and he punches her harder. Next thing they're rolling around the ground, fucking fighting. And you're like, why are these two fighting? It was kind of like that shit that was going on, right? So like one thing leads to another, and I was single at the time, she was single at the time, and actually thinking about, well, this might actually be a good idea, like if we got together. And at that point, she actually turned me down, which kind of freaked me out because I was like, well, I thought she liked me. I'm like, now I'm thinking like, I really have no fucking game because like I thought she liked me. She told me to go fuck myself.
I did like him.
And I just kind of left it at that. Now, not long after that, I wound up dating Carrie. I met Carrie, and she had met, I forget who it was you were dating at the time. Doesn't really matter. But she had met somebody and I met somebody, so that, like, that train had passed. Now, what's funny is, years later, after we're together and married, she says, well, I turned you down because I didn't want to be the rebound girl.
I don't want to be a rebound girl.
What the fuck? I'm like,
do I look like some rebound bitch to you?
Right,
I don't think so. Listen, you can go do that with someone else.
But at the same time,
because I actually really liked
I
him.
felt like awful, like she didn't like me. I'm like, wow, I totally misread this situation. I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
well, I just broke up with my girl,
Yeah.
so there's no one else I'll take care of. And fuck off. No.
Meanwhile, it was like, wow, she's really cool, and I've always wondered, and that's a bad thing to say, I've always wondered what it'd be like to date her, right? Because we get along so well, like, hanging out and stuff. If that rolls over into, like, when you're dating, that's like the ideal relationship. Well, it didn't manifest. It didn't happen, right? So fast forward, now we're going, like, I'm dating Carrie, that whole thing, you know, for 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. She's dating people, whatever. And finally, Carrie and I, the whole breakup happens, right? Mm-hmm. Now, after the breakup happens, the person she was dating, they broke up. So now here we are, like, years later, like a decade later.
Years.
Literally a decade later, both single again. And I don't even know. We were just hanging out. We were like, I remember we went to see, was it Skyscraper or?
He's also the most dense person on earth, you guys. He would be like, hey, do you want to go see a movie? He didn't finish the sentence over text, and I wrote back, yes, all caps, send. And he was like, oh, cool.
But the thing is,
So
I
we'll
never
just go
picked
see-
up on it because she turned me down the first time. She told me no the first time, so I was like, well, she didn't like me, we're just friends. So, hey, cool, we'll hang out as friends, right? Like, I like hanging out with her, she's smart, she's funny,
I
she's
always
pretty,
write
whatever.
back in all caps, yes.
So, I thought she was just doing some Greg Valentino shit, you know what I mean? Like, just capital, fucking no. Well, listen, guys, when a girl turns you down 10 years before, the last thing they're thinking of a decade later is, hey, she might like to go out with you now, like, date you. Like, that's the last thing you're thinking, right, Braids?
Daddy wasn't thinking.
Right, buddy? Is that the
wasn't
last
thinking.
thing? That's absolutely the last thing you're thinking, right? So I agree, Dad.
So he would ask me to do stuff, and I would just be like, yes. I didn't even let him finish. And he was just like total numbnuts. Didn't get it, didn't understand, like, and I'm just staring at him like, either you're just fucking with me, or like, what are you doing? Either you're just like completely fucking with me, or like, you're just the dumbest motherfucker. Because I'm like, literally, like, I'm not gonna come out and be like, I like you.
So finally, like, we're going to movies and
No.
stuff, we're going to dinner, we're going to coffee, which we're just doing like things that people just, I mean, I guess friends do, but things that you also do when you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
So then the time comes where my friend Brooks, he's very close to me, he's like my brother. Actually, Aaron and I are godparents to his son and Katie's son, Teddy. It was his birthday. So for his birthday, his parents give him the boat for the weekend. So he's like, hey man, he's like, if you want to come out, you know, bring somebody with you. You don't have to bring anybody with you. I mean, you know, let's go out for my birthday. So I was like, I wonder if Aaron wants to go, right? But let's back this up a second. So I go to an expo in
Dallas.
no,
It was in Texas
it was in
somewhere.
Florida. It was in Florida. Yeah, it was Orlando. So Manny.
Yeah.
So I invite this friend of mine who's a former client. She's now living in Florida. So she drives up with her boyfriend to meet me at the thing. Now I'm single again, like whatever. So we're at dinner at some place and we're talking and stuff. And her boyfriend, who this is the first time I'm meeting him, they met down there. And he says, I said, yeah, I'm hanging out with this girl, I'm hanging out with that girl, and I got 3 or 4 girls I'm hanging out with. But there's nothing like, it's all just like, fun. And he goes, well, who do you think of when you get up in the morning first? Like, who do you like text or who do you think of? I was like, oh, Aaron. And he goes, well, that's the one you're supposed to be with. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what a fucking idiot. I'm like, this guy, like, I've never met him. He doesn't even know me.
Aaron.
Right? Like, what the fuck? So, but then I started thinking, I'm like, shit, I do text her more. I do get up and look for her text in the morning. I'm like, fuck, I guess he's right. I'm like, shit. So now when Brooks is like, yeah, come out, my birthday and stuff, I'll ride the jet skis and shit. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I'll just see if Aaron wants to go. I mean, that makes the most logical sense. I like hanging out with her, etc. Cool.
Can I do a timeout?
So
I know him well enough to know that he should text me first during the day.
Yeah.
I would let him do that.
Yeah.
And I know that he needs to ask me, because if I ask him, he won't want it. But if he asks me, then I know he's actually like, I know him well enough to be like, I would look at my phone and be like, that motherfucker better text me. And I'd put the phone down and I was like, do not do it, because I knew him, and my phone would ping.
See
and I'd
the
be
games?
like, yes,
Guys,
it's on.
this is what
no,
women think.
I know you, and I'm not chasing after you. I'm not doing that shit with you.
Yeah,
you don't chase him.
You gotta run away from me.
You chase him,
Yeah.
you have to be like, I don't need you, and then he wants you. I'm not
And apparently
stupid.
she figured it out. Well,
It's
it
not
took,
hard
it
to
took her
get.
12 years to figure it out, but
As
whatever.
soon as you would text, I'd be like, yes.
So I was like, and this was for 4th of July, like around 4th of July. No, it wasn't
Yes.
Brooks' birthday, it was
It's
4th of
4th of
July.
July.
So Brooks' birthday is after 4th of July. So, but we go on the boat for both. Usually it's 4th of July and that. So I didn't know if she had plans already. I figured she already had, stuff going on, but I knew she was single, so she wasn't hanging with that guy anymore. So I said, hey, do you want to go out on, my buddy's boat? It's for his birthday and stuff. And she's like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. You don't have plans? Cool. So I was like, look, we got to go early in the morning. Now, early in the morning for me is like 9, 10 o'clock, right? I'm not thinking that she gets up at 3:30 in the morning.
I get up at like 3:30.
So I said, well, we're leaving early in the morning because we got to drive to Annapolis to get on the boat.
Oh my God, how early
So-
do we have to get up for this
Well,
boat trip?
they
I'm like,
docked the
holy
boat in
shit.
Annapolis because they have a house in Annapolis. So we got to drive to Annapolis, get on the boat, and then we take off from there.
I'm like, my God, this must be
So
super early.
I was like, why don't you come over to my house Friday night, stay over my house Friday
not
night, and then we'll leave in the morning early. That way, it's like you don't have to come from Virginia and stuff. She's like, oh, okay.
And I'm like, so it's really early in the morning? He's
So
like, yeah.
she comes over Friday night.
I'm like, okay.
I mean, long story short, she comes over
Okay.
Friday night. I only had one bed, but we slept in the same bed or
You
whatever.
had a couch.
I had a couch. I could have slept on the couch, but I was, whatever. She didn't have a problem with me sleeping in the bed with her, so whatever. So we fucking slept in the bed together.
We go to bed, we wake up.
Oh, we
and
go
I'm
to
like,
bed, right, we go to bed.
How early is it we have to get up? And he's like, like 9. I'm
And she
like,
was like, what the
9?
fuck? I'm like, yeah, 9. Because I don't go to bed till 4. So the next day we get up, we go on the boat, and it was going to rain. I remember this part. That was funny. So she goes, oh, it's going to rain. Are we still going to go on the boat?
I said,
I'm
are
like,
we still going to go? And he
Like, what
goes,
the
yeah.
fuck?
And I'm like, man, okay, we're going to go on the boat in the rain. You guys, look at me. Do I look like I suntan well? I'm like, how much sunscreen? What am I going to put? What kind of hat?
Like, she's not, like, she's
I'm like,
stressing
how
out
are we
because she
going to
doesn't.
fit on this boat
And
when
it
it's in the
didn't-
rain?
It didn't dawn on me, like, I had already been on the boat before, and it's something that we do every summer.
It hit in the boat, guys.
So we
It's
get
not
to
a boat.
we get to the dock, and we're all piling in the I guess it's called a dinghy or whatever. It's like the boat that brings you to the boat,
The little tiny boat.
and we're going over the waves to get to the boat, and it's kind of sprinkling a little bit. And Aaron's like, it might get thunderstorms. Is it okay to be on the boat? And
Dude,
we're all
it was
like,
going to
yeah.
rain like hell, you guys.
So as we're going, she's like looking around. She's like, where's the boat? And we point at it, and she's like, that's the fucking boat.
That's not a boat.
It's like a 4-bedroom living room.
My
I mean,
entire
it's like
condominium building can fit in
it's
this vessel.
It's a ship, So
but
it's
he
got,
says boat.
I
So
mean, that's
think,
what they call it, a boat. They don't call
like
it
a
a
little
ship.
speedboat. Maybe you're gonna do a little skiing or something.
No, this
I
thing you
don't
could live
know.
on for the next 2 years and probably, it's got 2 showers.
It's
I mean,
the
it's
greatest.
crazy, right?
It's gorgeous. But like, I
So-
didn't know that.
We're on the boat, right?
Really
We're on the
early.
boat really early.
Really
We're drinking
early.
coffees. I remember drinking coffees too.
Yeah.
We stopped for coffees. This is where we're both caffeinated.
I know.
And so we're on the boat, and like we're just there all day, and it just seemed like it was
It just felt natural.
natural and normal,
Yeah.
right? But we weren't together. We weren't a couple yet, right? And I don't know, like I don't know. It's just being around everybody. Like these were friends of mine that I was introducing her to. That everybody's getting. So it was almost like we were kind of all getting acquainted. Like that is something you do when you're dating someone, or like as your girlfriend or something. And it was that day on the boat. I don't even remember how we decided it. We decided we were together that day on the boat, just hanging out, like in front of everybody. I don't even know what we said. I don't remember.
Because I remember sitting next to him on like one of the like little. It's not like a couch. It's like a bench kind of outside. And I was like, hey, because I don't know how I'm supposed to act. Like I'm sitting there like I'm just cool, which I'm never cool. And I'm like I'm just gonna be cool, just like. I was internally so awkward. Finally, I got so tired from being in the heat that I was like, whatever.
So that was we decided we were together, and then we were dating that was like July 3rd, I think, right? Because then we got back, we went down to your place. They were setting the fireworks off in the parking lot. Remember? And so that was July 3rd.
We actually didn't decide we were dating then.
No, we were together. We decided we were together. But
Neither one of us would say a word. I'd be like, I mean,
well, it wasn't like
hanging
exclusive.
out,
It was like nobody wanted to label it because you want to fucking ruin it. You know, you feel like throw
you
a
also
label
don't
on it
say
and fuck
anything
it
to
up.
him. If he wants it to be exclusive, don't you think he would bring it up? Is your boy afraid to say something he wants to say? Nope. So
I think it was only maybe like a week or two, and then we decided like that was it. Like it was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, here's the. All right. So we just decided we're together. Now, the problem is I was not seeing, but I was hanging out with these other girls. So there was another girl that I made a date with to go like on Tuesday. I had a date with her, and Aaron and I decided on Saturday we were together. So rather than be like a scumbag, I was like, look, I agreed to go on this date with this girl.
We actually hadn't decided, but you were
like,
forthcoming. We both knew. We hadn't set it out.
I was like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, I think you should go.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I'm like, then I'm thinking,
Why?
like, she doesn't like me. She's trying to get rid of me. She's like, no, I think you should go.
No.
So I did. We went to sushi, and the girl was super cool. She was beautiful, with blue eyes and everything. And I'm just like talking to her, but I'm thinking about Aaron the whole time. And then I just literally told her up front. I said, look, this is great that we're out and stuff. And this is awesome. I think you're so cool and stuff. But like, I'm kind of starting to see this girl, and like, I really want to see where that goes. Like, I don't want to just, wind up kind of dragging you both along and then trying to choose. I really want to see what's going on with this. And that was like right at the beginning of the date. We were having sushi at Raw in Bethesda. And it was like, it took the pressure off. We had a great time. I remember we went back to my house because she met me at my house. I gave her a bunch of 5% supplements because I was with 5% of the time. She was like, yeah, I'm into working out. I'm like, oh, here's some BCAAs. And she was like, oh, thanks. And, we're kind of actually friends to this day. Like every once in a while she hits me up to see how everything's going. She's married. I'm married. So it was kind of a cool thing.
Sometimes it can help you see if what you have is what you want. That's why I'm like, well, you already said you were going to go. Not that you had to.
I mean, I didn't really know her. We met like online, so it was.
But I feel like it's all
random.
It's a lot about freedom. It's about choosing to be in a relationship, not feeling like you have to do this or have to do that. It's choosing, and so you can go have sushi, and then you're still choosing.
Right.
You're choosing a relationship.
Remember, this is like from 2007 to 2015. That's the time frame that we're talking about. So that's a long time, right, to get to know someone, like as a friend in general, or it's a long period of time. When you're training someone, it's very intimate. But at this point, I wasn't training her anymore. That's a whole other thing. Like I was really struggling with. She was a client. She is a client. I don't like. You can't. The saying in Rhode Island. I don't know if it's everywhere else. You don't shit where you eat. Like that's what you say.
Everybody says that.
And everybody does. So and then like it was like this thing. Like this. Should I? I don't know if I should actually date her or whatever. So that was like kind of a struggle at the first, and that was. So we really got together in 2015 in July. Now fast forward to December, a whole big thing goes on with the house I'm renting and stuff. The fucking heat goes out.
Heat went out, and Brady was a baby.
Brady was a little baby. So I have like a jacket on. I have a
little.
jacket on him. It's like fucking 10 degrees outside. And we start talking about stuff, and we start talking about like, I said, I got to move out of here. I got to get another place because this is fucking bullshit. I've had enough. And we started talking. It was like, well, if I get a 2-year lease in another place, we've already been dating for.
I was like, 2-year lease. What the fuck?
I mean,
Why
would
you
do
do that?
What you're gonna get, So we were talking about it. Like we're already dating. It's like, well, if we're gonna know how we get along, then we might have to be together to figure out if we can even get along. We haven't been together that long dating wise, but we've known each other for so long. This is like the next step,
I already knew I loved him.
She was in love with me. Like day one, she walked in and saw me at the gym and was like,
I kind of did, but I don't tell him that.
But you guys got it's on camera now. I can go back and watch it. She said it. So now
I can't believe there was actually something right at this. As soon as I first saw you, I was like I felt at the time I felt sick because I was in such a bad place that like when I saw you, I'm like, oh my god, and then I'm like, oh my god.
I try really hard, and this is gonna sound so bad. Guys, don't say this shit in front of your wives.
But you will.
I've trained some seriously fucking hot women in my life. I mean, women that were like, you don't get involved. So even like when she walks in the door, the last thing on my mind is actually getting involved. I haven't even trained her yet. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think you were thinking about that with my line in my hair and fucked up hair. I was fat, like frumpy. Like there was no danger of that, you guys.
Fat meaning she looked exactly like she does now. Whatever. Anyways.
Oh my God.
So now July we get together. So December. I mean, this is like, but when we first were just hanging out, I was like, look, I'm going to fucking Mexico in January. I don't give a fuck. If I got to go alone, I'm going. But if you want to go to Mexico, hey, let's go to Mexico in January. Now, we didn't even start dating at this point,
And I was
right?
like, he was like, do you want to go if I go? And I'm like,
I'm fucking going. Even if I got to go by myself, I'm going. I don't give a fuck. I like Mexico. I'm going.
But
So
I like that.
Now, by the time we go to Mexico in January of 2016, we've already been living together for about a month and decided this works. Like, this really does work well. So the next step would be like,
I was living with my best friend.
like,
Like,
how do we get engaged?
It's not-
Like, what
it's
the
not
fuck?
hard.
So we talk about the engagement, and we should probably cut it off here and save that for another thing. We'll actually break it down to other videos. Actually, I think it's pretty funny. So we decide to get engaged. We get engaged in January,
Yep.
so it's less than a year that we've been dating.
less
We
than a
get
year.
engaged.
Certainly less than a year.
And fucking next thing you know, it's like, oh, our 1 year anniversary of meeting is coming up. We've already been engaged for 6 months, and then we got married that
Let's get married.
September. Right? Like, we flew out to Vegas at the Olympia. I mean, fucking had our thing out there. Primeval paid for us to stay an extra couple days, which was really cool. Thank you, Primeval.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty awesome of them. So we could just hang out and fuck around after the Olympia and stuff. And it's just, you know, couples have their ups and downs. And I'm not going to say we don't have our ups and downs,
Sure.
but there's so few downs with us. I mean, I can't think of an actual fight. Like, I mean, I've had fights with ex-girlfriends that nothing's ever come close to that. We've had a couple.
He's told me some stories about some of these fights he's had in the past, and I'm like, who
not
are you
good.
dating?
But I mean, literally, we've maybe had, if I had to really think about it, we've maybe had maybe 1 or 2 fights that were like considered tame as fuck to me. And we've had maybe a handful of disagreements that were heated, but it wasn't like we were at each other. It's just hard to explain. So it's just like, someone told me before that when it's right, it's easy. You know, you have to work at things, but it's not, you don't have to work at getting along with the person.
Well, there's also respect. Like, if you respect someone, you watch your mouth, you watch yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you must not respect me
There
at all.
is-
You're talking shit all the time. Fucking everything comes out of your
he
mouth.
likes it. But like,
Fucking
if you
zero
actually
respect.
love someone, you're not going to be having those fights like you would tell me about with some of the people in your past. Like, that's
Yeah.
not what you do when you respect someone. That's what you do when you're trying to, like, I don't know, posture or do something stupid. Like, I feel like you and I are a little bit more careful than that when we choose our words, choose our
Well, I don't say
subjects.
shit that's going to hurt her, like, because I don't want to hurt her. So, like, in the past, I'm not saying I wanted to hurt the other person, but they would say something that would push the button on me, and I knew what button to push on them, and I would push
You
it.
would attack.
My thing is, like, she doesn't push any of my buttons purposely,
I would never purposely
so
push
I
a
don't
button.
push any of her buttons, and sometimes when I say shit that I didn't realize that the button was pushed, then I really step back and go, fuck. You know, I went too far, but even then, like, what you guys would consider too far is probably not what we would consider too far.
Right.
We consider things too far, it's like very little, and we think that's too far because if it goes too far, it's hard to come back from that. Like, one of my ex-girlfriends used to say that the arguing would leave like these emotional scars on her that never went away. So those emotional scars add up over time, and then you
That's
can't fucking
true.
stay with anybody, right?
I
So
agree with that.
you know, my thing was, you know, okay, there's really no reason for me to say the things to her that I said to exes. Why? Because she doesn't come at me like that. Like, what am I gonna
Why
do?
would
Like,
I?
there's like the things that came out of my mouth in other relationships were based on what was happening in that relationship. Like, you don't carry that stuff into the next relationship unless that next relationship is like that. So it was like a whole new thing, and it's like it was uncharted territories for both of us. Like, she never checks up on me, I never check up on her. I don't give her shit. I mean, it just,
No.
what's the point? You know, I wanted somebody that was my equal partner to go through life, and that's what she wanted. So it was like this kind of blend of like, okay, we've already been really good friends. There was always this sexual tension for some reason, like, I don't know, whatever it was, right?
Whatever.
And then, I mean, like, because it's not something that, like, happens every time, all the time with everybody. And then,
No,
like,
it
when
was-
you're dating someone and you're married, like, you can't let that tension get the best of you. You just can't. I mean, it's there, but you can't let it happen. And then you guys would split up, and then we were both dating somebody. You, again, can't let that tension get to you. But then you have friends, like Jess would be like, and then my girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend was like, anything ever happen with you and Aaron? I'm like, what?
That one guy I was dating was like, do you and Jerry ever hook up? And I said, no, why?
when
What are you
people-
talking about? Because he was training me for a show, and he was like, you know, bitching at me about whatever I was eating or something. And he goes, well, every time he texts you, you know, your entire face lights up. And I went, what? I was, he's just reading me the riot act. And he goes,
She loved it. She loved being told to fuck off.
you
She
like
loved
me.
it. She loved it. She loves it. She loves
If
it now.
if I say something nice to him, he's like,
Yeah, I don't respond to nice things, like criticism. Criticism and negative negative reinforcement is what I need. That's just how I am.
so I have to yell, fuck you. And he's like, ha 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 ha. He thinks it's funny. I'm like, this
I
is
was
the
thinking,
most.
like, I'll say something because I know, like, so there's a way to play with Erin that you can't play with other women. Like, so my phone will be on the table and she'll be sitting there, and I'll be like, hey babe, can you bring me my phone? Right? Because I know she's like, get up
No.
and get it yourself, right? And I know, I don't want her to bring it, but I know what the reaction is going to be. So I plan a couple steps ahead. Go, hey, babe, can you bring me my phone? I don't want to get up, right? And she goes,
no.
I'll bring you your fucking phone. And she shows my face, right?
I got your phone right here.
The only way to shut that down is to repeat what she said like a little kid. Yeah, give me that shit. And it shuts her down like that. And she just shuts up and she's like, God damn it. Then she laughs, right? So we do that a lot. Like you'll hear us like, babe, pick up the trash. Yeah, big, take out the trash. Like, and I think a lot of people, if they heard us, they'd be like, they don't really like each other. Like they can't
talk. But we just think it's funny.
She'd be like, oh, babe, I got a headache. My head hurts. And I'm trying to watch like Ancient Aliens or something. I'm really concentrating, right? And she's like, babe. And I'm like, babe, your fucking head is going to hurt. If you don't let me listen to this thing for the next 2 minutes, shut up, right? And she starts laughing. She's like, she'll time it on her watch. Babe, 2 minutes is up. Can you fucking talk now? I'm like, what the fuck, babe? I'm like, give me 1 more minute. You said 2 minutes. The 2 minutes is up. And I'm like...
But he likes
But it's funny shit. Like, that's the way that we interact with each other. I think that keeps everything fresh because it's a constant thing, too. It never gets old. Like, it's funny, you know? Never gets old. Like, Brady's trying to get our attention. He's like, well, since you guys
I've been having to pet him the whole time.
Yeah, he wants to go on the deck.
But it just goes to show you that a relationship and the way you meet someone, the way you talk to someone is really just unique to you two. And there's no one that can tell you, well, that's not normal or that's not, it doesn't matter. It's what you decide it is with your person.
And it's also, and we're going to get into that in another fucking video, that every woman will say one thing and fucking think another.
What?
So she really wanted to fucking be dating me and told me fucking no, not to be the rebound girl, but never told me about the rebound girl shit. So that's some fucking girl shit right there, because they just figure you know. Look, guys, we don't fucking know. If we could think like women, we wouldn't say the stupid shit that we fucking say.
You were not ready for me. You know my personality. Were you in any way ready to be with me?
No.
There's no, you guys, he could not have survived.
Yeah, but sex would have been good. I mean, we didn't have to get married
sex
at that point.
Sex would have been
What the
fine,
fuck?
but then
like,
what?
The fuck?
You were still like, rah, you were crazy and unsettled. You didn't know what the fuck you were doing in life. I am the opposite, you guys.
Yeah, but I knew sex. What the fuck? I mean,
I've never gotten in trouble in my life. Like, I've gone to school for 407 years. Like, I have, like...
You just gave up your age, 407
systems.
years.
I know, 408.
Brady's still trying to get on the porch. There's a bee out there, buddy.
He's
going to sting you in the fucking face.
He just wasn't
again.
in a good place, and I think you also have to be mature enough to realize that even though I really, really liked him, it wasn't going to work then.
Yeah, because that...
It never would have worked back then. And I knew it, and it was awful because he was like, but I really like you. I'm like, I like you too. And he was just like dumbfounded, and I'm like, I know. And I had like tears in my eyes. I'm like, but no.
Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, makes zero sense. Brady, you can't go on the porch. There's a bee out there. He's just stinging you in the fucking face again, dude.
This dog is as ornery as his dad.
Christ. So anyways, that's our story up to... I mean, there's a lot of things left out that we could probably go back and kind of build upon after that. Like, she used to, like... I mean, I used to work as a bouncer at a club. And fucking... And my girlfriend didn't even come visit me in the club, right? And next thing you know, everything, hey, buddy. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you doing here? Just say hi. I'm like, what the fuck? So it was shit like that like...
But you have to understand that we are like magnets. We are very yin and yang. We are so different, you guys. But we cannot stay away. I cannot explain it to you, but like wherever he is, you don't have to tell me. I'll find him because like I can't stay away. He can't stay away. It doesn't even matter if we want to stay away. We can't do it. So if I'm like, oh, you're working the door, well, I'll stop by for 3 minutes and say hi because that's logical.
Yeah, I mean, fucking in the middle of the night, fucking when getting head punched in a fucking club.
Fuck, I wanted to see him.
Before we go, I'm gonna tell this one story. This is right after we started dating, and I helped promote the Sean Ray show here. It was a Sean Ray Classic, and I was with 5% Nutrition, and 5% was like, hey, if you want to do booths and stuff, these expos, we'll send you all the product. You can do booths. We'll send you t-shirts, whatever you need. We'll hook you up. So I started doing that. I did Jay Cutler's show, and I was doing Jay's show came afterwards. I think this was the first one I did at 5%, but I was helping Sean promote the show 2 years in a row. One was for BioS3 in 20 whatever year it was, and then of course this was 2015 that this was going on, or 2016 because we were together. No, 2015 because that was like August. Yeah. So anyways, so at this point, remember these competitions. Now I compete, Aaron competes, and the ex-girlfriend Carrie competes, right? So this is our first time in public really like being together, and you know, people are just like, they're happy for us. They're like, oh shit, you know, I saw that coming a million miles away 2 years ago. Like, you know, like, I'm surprised it took this long, shit like that. So we're sitting there like at the table, and I got my hand on her leg like this. You guys can't even see it, but I got my hand on her leg, and I'm like talking and stuff. And then fucking Carrie walks in. And it's, now, we've been broken up for like, I don't know, a month or something. No, months, right?
It would been like
about
4
months,
five,
right?
6 months, yeah.
So I'm sitting there like this, and as soon as I saw her, I pulled my hand off her leg and like sat up. right? And it was like, I literally felt like I just got caught cheating. It was a weird fucking situation, because it was like, we're not together, but there was always that thing, like Carrie had asked me, Jess had asked me, everybody at the gym had asked me, yo, what's up with you and the redhead? What's up with you and Aaron? Like, something going on with you guys? I can just tell you, the way you guys interact and
I'm
stuff.
sitting there like, what the fuck just happened?
And I did not want to be like, what I didn't want was Carrie to see us together and be like, I fucking knew it all along. Like, you were cheating on me, you always wanted to be with her. Like,
Which
I felt really
that
bad
way.
because it was just the way that it went. But
I wasn't actually that way.
Right, but as luck would actually turn out, because Carrie and I always stayed friends. We stayed friendly.
Yeah.
She had actually texted me later on the day. She's like, so you and Aaron, huh? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, that's awesome. She's like, you guys are really good together, and I could tell that she's really cares about you and stuff. And that's really good because you guys are like, it was one of those things where I just didn't want Carrie to feel like I was kind of like just staying with her, but always thinking about Aaron. That wasn't the point.
And I didn't punch him in the face, because let me tell you, ladies, when he took his hand off my leg, I'm like rage, because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, is he actually still talking to her? Like, why would
That's
you
where the
do
woman's
that?
mind goes. That's why I
And
see
I'm
you
like,
think differently.
what is he doing right now? I'm like, why did he act like he just got, you only act like you got caught if you got caught. So what are you doing? And I'm like, fuck.
So her way
I'm
of
like,
thinking,
now
right?
what?
Now, her ex-boyfriend, at the same time, always thought there was something going on with me and her. So if we ran into him, Erin wouldn't pull her hand away. She don't give a fuck. She'd be like, we didn't do shit wrong.
What are you doing,
so
man? It's
therefore,
good to see you.
that's on him if he fucking feel like, I can hear it, her voice right.
Like, that's his problem.
That's his problem, and we didn't do anything wrong.
We
fucking
didn't do
blah, blah,
anything
blah.
wrong.
Like, I can hear it, and she don't give a fuck what anybody
Because
else thinks.
I know that we didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
But you were like, ah! And I'm like,
I just
that
felt so bad. I
motherfucker.
felt so bad because it was like, it wasn't just Carrie. It was like Angelica asked me, Carrie asked me, the people at the gym asked me, Manuel asked me, fucking Bobby asked me. It was like
Girlfriends of mine who had never met
everybody.
him sat there and went, so
I had a bunch of bikini
oh, and
competitors.
you liked Jerry.
And I was like,
like
I was
what? No.
training all these bikini competitors with their training and their diets. And Jessica Jessie, IFBB Pro Jessica Jessie, she's kind of a legend in bikini. She kind of started
She's
in bikini,
gorgeous,
right?
you guys.
She was doing all the posing for my girls. So we'd get all together. It was almost like a team. We'd all get together and we'd do the body fats and everything like that. And I guess I would do the pinch test in the bottom of the glutes. So I'd have all these girls in their bikini standing there and I'd be pinching the bottom of their asses.
Hyperventilating because we're not together.
Which is
just pinching my
I'm
ass.
I'm pinching asses. So like I leave the room or whatever and Jess is talking to Erin and she goes, hey, did anything ever happen between you and Jerry? Like he treats you differently.
He said he treats you differently. I said, how?
I'm actually meaner to her than him.
She goes, well, he's sweet on you. I said, he's sweet on me? I was like, Jesus Christ, what is he like with everybody else? I'm like, that's sweet? And
really
she
did.
laughed and she goes, no, really, he is. And I'm like, no, really?
Yeah,
what kind of an asshole?
I was actually probably worse to her than the other girls. So when you're trying to fight off that thing like you kind of like somebody, you're trying really hard not to let it show. So you do shit like, okay, everybody else do 20 lunges, Erin, you do 45. Like that's
and
kinda...
I would be like, do I look okay? I'm like emaciated. I'm on death's door. And I'm like, do I look, like, am I on track? And he would go, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I guess. And I'm like...
Because you can't, like, give someone more attention than others. It's not fair.
No, but I would be like, but do I look like a fat dumpster muffin, or am I right?
I can understand what all these other girls look like when they're in the bikinis, but Erin's bikini was kind of big, so it was too much clothes. I just needed to see her naked. And we should talk about the progress pics and stuff. That she used to send me, like, these progress pics, listen, whatever. I was actually getting ready to get on a plane, and it would be like just the bottoms, and the bottoms would fit like a fucking Barbie doll. And she'd have the phone like this, because she'd be in the mirror trying to take a picture of her glutes.
In an apartment.
And I remember looking at
against
this.
the wall, with I had to have the phone here, and I would go like this, and then get it in the mirror.
It was
and
porn.
I was like...
It was porn.
It was not porn.
It was bikini porn. Fucking, so I remember sitting at the airport and I'm going through the shit and this fucking dude sitting next to me and I'm looking at her ass. I open it up.
Yeah,
and I'm like going through it like because you really enlarge the picture to see where the glutes and hamstrings and stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy's like looking over my shoulder and I kind of go, I said, oh. And he goes, okay. I said, it's my job. And he looks at me and goes, how do I get that job? Anyways, we're going to cut it off here because Brady's getting very antsy over here, aren't you, buddy? Come here, you want to say on the camera?
We have so many stories that you guys would either be horrified or you would laugh your ass off.
The camera?
But that's just how we are.
Say hi to everybody out there. See the camera? Look at him. He's like, what?
You look so serious when we pick you up. You guys, he's a clown. He's hilarious, and he acts so serious when we have him up here like this. I don't know why.
Look at him.
I know.
Because he's being filmed. He knows it. He knows when he doesn't like being filmed. Like when I take my phone and try to film, he runs away. He knows what's up. Huh, buddy? Yeah, you an introvert? All right, so that's part of our story. Our story, part 1. I think we'll do it like that.
Okay, part
All
1.
right, biostraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. Biostraining.com is the blog.
You gonna do the bicep?
Mom.